From the ever-exciting world of sports to the ever-revolving round of politics, I am Money Thomas, and we are back talking politics right here on The Weekend Show. I won't be doing this alone. Joining me is Roland. Roland, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, over the course of the last 3 weeks, we've talked of the upcoming 2027 elections. Last week, I can remember we were talking about the electoral reforms. But today we are going to be talking about security challenges and the government response. And talking about that particular one, joining us to make sense of the conversation is Idris Ibrahim Kalgo, ADC member, who is flanked with Igo Ekerega, member, Nigeria Guild of Editors. Good morning, gentlemen. Great to have you.
Good morning.
So normally my co-host always throws in the first question, but when I saw you representing the ADC, I had a question for you firsthand. I mean, I think last 2 weeks we spoke with the publicity director of APC, Ibrahim Bala, and he was talking about the coalition of the ADC. Today we're not talking political parties, but this one is just from an ADC point of view. He was talking about how less effective the party is as compared to the last time an incumbent was overthrown. He talked about the coalition that brought about Buhari in 2014 and how strong they were. He talked about ADC, saying that this particular political parties are just a group of disgruntled politicians who are not in power and possibly will not have a great effect in the 2027 elections. What do you have to say?
It's so unfortunate to see some learned men talking way out of track. And thank God he said that same kind of coalition brought in the APC government in 2014. So it's okay. You know, the same thing PDP said in 2014. This is a whole bunch of leaders who doesn't even know where they're heading to. And then they win the election in 2015. So the same thing, you know, it's opposition. They can say whatever they want to say. But if ADC is not a threat, why are they making it look like more a threat? It's always the issue. It's all about the ADC. ADC is not, they don't have the capacity to win elections. They are a bunch of leaders who doesn't even know where they're heading to. They don't have the capacity to win elections. So why all these things? It means that ADC are getting somewhere. It means they are afraid. And that's where we want them to be. They're actually the spots where we actually want them to be, because we are here to win election. And the ADC is doing whatever it takes to make sure that we get all our structure in place before the time. And you can see what the APC are trying to do. They try as much as possible to see that they dismantle, they bring lots of confusion on the ADC, but we are far way beyond that. Before even the announcement of the ADC, we have made up our plans. And we are expecting all these things. So it's not...
So basically, if no one talks about you, then you're nobody.
About what? Sorry again?
If no one talks about you, then you're nobody. Because you
Absolutely.
talked about if we are not a threat, why is
Absolutely.
ABC making a fuss out of
Absolutely.
it? All right, let's just get that out of the way. That was just me going off script. I'm sorry, Roland.
No,
Please start with the
that
show.
was great because politics is also part of the process to good leadership, and also leadership is one of the fundamental parts to give our citizens security and of lives and property. You know, the pressing issue, insecurity is no longer is a thing that everybody knows about. It's a trend all through the week, and last week we had the incident in Katsina, Borno State, of worshippers being massacred. What is such a unfortunate incident that happened, that people were going to worship and pray to their God, and that's where they end their life. So my question to you, politics is a vehicle that most people stand upon to bring leadership. Now the APC is in power, and the ADC wants to also come, just like the popular saying, we are sending President Tinubu back to Lagos. So what is the ADC coming to do differently concerning insecurity in the country?
Thank you very much. You know, it's one thing to want to be in power, and then it's a different thing to bring the constant change, the main change that people are really urging to get. The APC came into power without any plan. That's why they have been failing woefully on a daily basis.
But
They
they
are
say they came with
clueless.
a plan. That might
Where
be
is the
your
plan?
opinion, right?
Where is the plan? We have a sitting president who on the inauguration day says subsidy is gone. Without even being to the office, doesn't even know what it takes, what is really on there. He doesn't know anything about it. And the next thing, all Nigerians are in trouble. We're in trouble. Hunger, where everything skyrocket and everything. Poverty is one another way of increasing insecurity of a thing. You asked me what the ADC are going to do differently. Thank you for that. You see, we have a country whereby our leaders do not travel by road. Our leaders do not even visit the villages. They only go to state capital, jet back to Abuja. That's all they do. We have leaders who doesn't even know what the real people in the rural area are going through. All this thing that you heard about the killer of the thing, these are the ones that you know on the media. There are some remote areas that killings are happening on a daily basis. People are dying. What are they doing about it? Nothing. And then the ADC, we're going to make sure that if we have a president in 2027, we're going to make sure that we charge all the service chiefs. It's going to be like a target. Look, I want you to get this done between this month or 1 or 2 years. If you did not get it done, we are removing you and then we're going to bring another person in. That's how you charge the military architectures. They know they have a target, and if they fail to achieve that target before that time given to them, they will be fired. That will encourage them to do more. And then we're going to make sure that we empower the military to do more. And the president, the ADC president, is going to make sure that he himself is going to keep an eye on it. We have a situation in Nigeria whereby you see an army general, we went into places like danger zone, like in Zamfara, working with this walking stick. It means to him, it's not a danger area for him. If it is, he may be working with a pistol or something because he should be ready for the worst case scenario to come up. But no, in their own cases. We have to make sure the military are well equipped. All the service chiefs will be taxed with a period of time. It's either you get this done or you get out of line.
Well, I believe some Nigerians will have a different perspective, that talk is cheap. The APC also said that. But now they're in power, facing the issues. Are we going to say it's their approach or our security architecture or the mode of operation that we need to adjust, or the heads, that's the chief in commander?
They are not ready to do anything in ADC. I like what you said, the APC said so, but don't forget, Atiku Abubakar is not Tinubu. Peter Obi is not Tinubu. El-Rufai is not Tinubu. Amici is not Tinubu. These are different kind of people, and they have different ideology. I think maybe the APC are just here for the sake of, I want to be the president. That's what I think. That's what I see in the APC. Nothing more.
All right. I mean, before 2027, it's two years would definitely count before we possibly get to have new parties ruling Nigeria, possibly in June 1st. But let's talk about currently, how do we curb this menace of insecurity? People are dying, like you said, people are dying in the rural areas that we don't even get to talk about. Maybe before 2027, Nigeria would have reduced in population. So let's talk about how we can prepare solutions. I mean, Igor Ekerega, thank you so much for joining us once again. What are the solutions that should be prepared? Some people are arguing that we are tackling insecurity from the branch instead of the roots. What do you have to say?
Well, let me start by just responding to some of the questions you throw at him. The political parties in Nigeria, whether it is PDP, APC, ADC, Labour Party, what I see and what most Nigerians see from the political mirror is that we have people who are not prepared for the job. Now, an English philosopher, Edward Cleaver, posited that you are either part of the problem or part of the solution. Now, people who are coming together to say they want to solve the problem of Nigeria, their faces that I know, that most Nigerians know, are those that have created the problems. So if you create a problem I am not convinced, I'm not persuaded to believe that you have a solution to that problem. So to that extent, I personally, I don't take the ADC people seriously at all for any reason. I don't take them seriously. I've also heard arguments about, he also alluded to that on the first day of the president's inauguration, he said subsidy was gone. That gave a semblance of a man who appeared to be prepared for the job, that he knew what he was coming to solve.
Yeah.
So ordinarily, that shouldn't be a problem if it didn't catalyze into economic crisis that we have. For example, increase in fuel prices, floating of the naira, and all of that.
But some Nigerians would have said that they should have been like a shock absorber for that particular decision.
Now, what would the shock absorbers be, for example? We are an oil-producing country, and there were claims that subsidy was a fraud. The president himself, that's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was in the opposition, said so. Don't forget, in 2012 or so, 2011, 2012, former President Goodluck Jonathan tried to extricate fuel subsidy from the economic system, and we saw what happened. He was stopped. Even at that, he still put in place programs like Shopee and all of that to try and cushion the effect of the partial.
Removal.
There was a small removal at the time. Now, but what we see in the current administration is trying to deal with microeconomic issues using macroeconomic policies and strategies. That is why you find that the common man is feeling the pinch. It is so hard. I think the economy management team of the current administration, they've not been able to get it right. They've not been able to put their hands on the solutions. All right. So that is why we are where we are. But for those who are saying that they have a solution, my worry is that these individuals have been tested before, and they didn't prove any difference. They didn't do anything that seems to convince anyone that they are coming with fresh ideas that can alter the status quo.
Going by what you just said, stabilizing the economy and cushioning the effect of fuel subsidy, this also, you have to also look at the insecurity. Because if the economy is stable, how do Nigerians or the citizens strive?
Let me come to that. You asked a question about how do we deal with insecurity. Yeah. A lot of people think that when you advance the kinetic approach, empower the military, buy more guns, buy more jets, buy weapons, bomb people, you are dealing with it. No. A man if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food, shelter, and clothing, those are the basic needs of man. Now, if you cannot solve these three problems, now there's no amount of guns, machineries, intimidation that you bring that can solve any problem. So for me, I would like to see political leaders speaking to the issues about what will they really do beyond the issue of, because even if you change a military commander, a general, and bring another one, it's a Nigerian. The root problem is still there. The root problem is the multi-dimensional poverty that we have in Nigeria. I'm a professional. I've been in journalism I've been an editor for, about 3 decades, 30 years. But I won't say that I'm comfortable. I'm not in the middle class. So, in economic classification of citizens, you're either in the upper class, the middle class, or just in the lower class. I think I'm in the lower class because I drive my car, my eyes are continuously on the fuel gauge, whether it is running out or not. So if I'm worried about my fuel running out, it means that I don't have sufficient money to deal with the very basic of needs. So, and that cascades down to the common man on the street. And if you look at the World Economic Indicators, whether it is World Bank, IMF, and all of that, the policies of successive government is targeted at making our Western economic oppressors happy while Nigerians are unhappy. Even the Tinubu administration, I'm not impressed with the policies because the policies are making the World Bank, the IMF, and the Bretton Woods excited that, Nigeria is getting it right, there's some macroeconomic stability, but is there macroeconomic stability in the stomach of the average Nigerian? That is not true. So why they are happy? Because don't forget, we are a raw material producing country, and we are not able to move the materials away to the level of consumption. And that is why when Peter Obi talks about that is going to move the country away from consumption to production, I seem to agree with him. But the mechanism to get that done, he has also spoken about that a couple of times. We wait to see. I want to see leaders speaking to the issue. Poverty is too much. Hunger is too much. You can't pay your rent, because I want to speak to the ordinary issues that affect people. People can't pay their rent. They can't send their children to school. When you are sick, even malaria drugs are very expensive now. The least you can get is about 4,500 and all of that. So when you're even sick, it's a problem. And don't forget, the U.S. government has withheld e-support for HIV, that is HIV vaccines.
Funds,
so for anybody who is even going down with that ailment, you're on your own. And recently, I read a report where the federal government is talking about building 6 bus stops. That is in the 6th geopolitical region with 145 billion naira. And if you look at the 2025 budget, the entire health sector, whether it is secondary health sector, tertiary, psychiatric hospitals, the hospitals that are run by the universities, the entire budget is like about 100 billion. They want to build bus stops in 6 bus stops. Who is going to ride in buses that will be stopped at those? But I don't understand.
Yeah.
So
Just-
it's about
just-
prioritization.
just like what
it's
you
about
said. Yeah.
prioritization that is fueling insecurity. When monies are diverted to areas that is not of immediate need to citizens, citizens become impoverished, and that fuels insecurity. That is just what it
Just
is.
like what you said, the policy are making the Western country more excited than the realities Nigerians are facing. We'll come to you, while Mr. Idris. The recent issues, many state governments are also clamoring for state policing. But there are recent issues around state policing, like the Agune Chamber incident of the NYC in Anambra State, and some other indigenous, Amoteku and others, also in Kano, there were incidents of abuse of these security outfits. So how do you think state policing can be a solution to the insecurity we are facing in Nigeria? And if yes, how?
Yeah, at a point, I think, yes, it can be, but if we have the right governors, the governors that really believe in the progress of their own people, securing the lives and properties of their own people, not their own family. Get it right. Because this is the problem we are getting in Nigeria. We have leaders in power who only care about themselves and their families. That is why we are having all these issues. I'll come back to that when I'll answer something quickly from my brother, what he said about when the president knows what he is doing at the first go that subsidy is gone. When he assumed into power, if he knows what is going on, I think the minimum wage was 35,000 naira, thereabouts. And now the fuel is like 1,000 plus per liter. Do you know how much it would take you to go to work? Do you know how much you pay your rent? So he talks about rent, school fees, 35,000 naira. Civil servant, even the senior officers get like 110, 120,000 naira monthly salary. Let's assume like you spend 2,000 naira back, to and fro to go to work and come back. How much is left?
In a month.
And the same person is now saying subsidy is gone. And he knows what he is doing. No, he doesn't. And at the same time, this same president was busy buying sophisticated vehicles, very expensive vehicles, private jets. They are living in a luxury life. So he doesn't know what he was doing from day one.
Hold on to that.
And then
I wanted to also press
let me answer your
on,
question.
I don't think
on
he
the
was-
issue. I wanted to also press on the issue, on the recent issue of some of the legislature clamoring for salary increments. So you can go on with your conversation.
I think those are jokers. They are doing that because they know he has a plan with them. That's why they're busy trying to see how they can have many senators in APC, because they have a plan to pass a bill. Maybe next year or before the election. They know we know their plans, and we are also working on it. And these are people, like I said about your state policy. If we have governors who truly love their people dearly, want to protect their lives and property, it's a good thing. State policy will go. But if we have the wrong leaders, then we use those state police to attack or to use it against their oppositions. Look at what the governors are doing in the states now, as if like they are not, they're even way, I don't even know how to classify, how to call them. In the states, you can't question a governor in the states. You can't write something on the Twitter or on social media about the governor. They will look for you, attack you. He will use the same security architecture to get to his own opponents. So now, this is somebody who doesn't have the control of the police or the military or the NSCDC. So tell me what happens if you have the control of them. It means nobody can talk. It means if they can even decide to say, look, I'm going to run this election the way I want it. That's why we are saying this problem of INEC, in the state INEC. You see every state, the party, the governor, the party he belongs wins 100% of the local government elections. So if we have set policy with such kind of people, we're going to have the same problem. In the same society whereby you have the wives of the governors having living in luxury lives, having gold, diamonds on their necklaces, the same state doesn't have hospital equipment.
But I think that's their right. If they have the money, they can afford
How
it.
do they get the money?
Hey, if we talk about that, that's
Does
where
the wife have
conversation should
those
be.
necklaces, those gold before she became the first lady? In the same state, a governor cannot go to the state hospital. In a country whereby all our leaders do not believe in our health sector, do not believe in our education sector, all their children are abroad schooling, what do we expect? What are we getting out of it? Nothing. The only thing they do is go there, spend their money, have their investment in the foreign countries, and come, when they die, then we bring them and bury them here in the country. We have a president in this country who have gone to foreign countries, more foreign countries than he visited his own state. So where are we heading to? A president who only sits in the villa all the time, only gets reports when they give whatever they want him to listen, that's what he gets. We need a president that will go around the country. We need a president that will supervise himself.
Well,
That's the kind of
he has
thing.
people at his disposal. Just last week also, the security advisors and the security, they said the military has recorded success.
Just last week.
Yes, just
When did we
last
get the recent report on the Katsina?
But we should applaud them when
When
we
is
need
it?
to.
Okay,
Maybe I
so,
should,
so gentlemen,
And then, as all this thing that you are saying, like my brother said, it's not going to be, it's not just about getting them weapons and other things. If you supervise, it's going to be different. Just an example. Let me give you an example. I'm sure you have a family. Sometimes your wife will ask you, what do you want to eat? If you come back at home, you check your parlor and your room. Is it clean? Is it properly tiled or
Tidied
not?
up.
If it is not, what would you do? You caution your wife, hello, please try and do this so that this place can look neat. It's not about having a representative. Sometimes you have to supervise yourself. When they know you're going to supervise unexpected, they must do the right thing.
They'll be on their toes.
Of course. Then you put them on a checklist. Hey, I gave you this money for this budget. What have you done with it? Security architecture, where are you?
see,
Call
I
them
want
all on
to
board.
chip in
Ask them some
something.
questions.
My
What is
brother
happening?
said-
I think
Let me-
Mr.
Yes, let me just
Igali
chip in
wanted-
something, because the issue of insecurity is key.
Yeah.
A lot of people are worried. Now, from 2023, when the current president took over, the first 6 months to 1 year, if you live in this country, we know what happened. There was some graveyard silence and peace.
Definitely.
There were very minimal killing. Don't forget, before he came in, under former president, with due respect to him, he's late now, Muhammadu Buhari, you can hardly travel on any road. It's either you are kidnapped or you are killed. In fact, the train from Abuja to Kaduna, was attacked. So many things happened. But there was some semblance of peace when Tinubu came in. Now, we are moving towards election. You could see a spike. So sometimes for me, while trying to analyze the security situation in Nigeria, I also think that some of them are politically motivated. That's just the truth. We should tell ourselves the truth. If you look at Kaduna State, for example, when former Governor El Rufai was there, Southern Kaduna was a killing field. Almost every week you see killings going on in Kaduna, Southern Kaduna. The Chief of Defense Staff now, CDS Musa, General Musa, is from the Southern Kaduna part. You could see that. Have you ever heard of any killing in Southern Kaduna since the current administration took over? That place now, there's peace there. Now, if you look at Plateau State and Benue, where you really see these killings taking place, Benue, Plateau, and then we hear that some of these individuals mobilized from somewhere in Nasarawa to attack the two states. I think with that, I'm not a spokesman I'm not a fan of President Tinubu. I'm not impressed even with a lot of policies that the president is pursuing. But with regards to security, I think the president has his hands on deck. He's doing something about it. He's dealing with it. Because those who are opposed to him, I won't be surprised if they also have their hands trying to encourage insecurity here and there. In Zamfara State, we see what the governor in Zamfara State is doing with. He has made it clear that he's not going to negotiate with terrorists.
All right.
Even Bello Toji, you know, he's on the run. No, we should not, when we come on national TV, we should not make it look like our security forces are so weak that they cannot do anything. These are gallant men and women that have put their lives on the line, and they are doing so much. I know they are doing so much, because as a journalist, I cover them. I know what they do. They do so much. They can come on national television to disclose their strategy, but there's so much that is being done, really.
All right, so time is not our best of friends this morning. I like the fact that this conversation is not just talking about the issue at hand, but it's also preferring solutions. So because of time, I would like to throw in these final questions to the floor. I mean, you talked about how we can tackle these insecurities from the root. You talked about the Abraham Maslow theory of needs, that if people have the basic needs, if they can be taken care of, if the economy is somehow stabilized, we are going to reduce this insecurity that is everywhere. And you talked about I would say short term, I mean, bolstering the military, and he asked the question of self-defense or state policing, which I think is a very short-term way of looking at the solution. So I want to ask, which one should we prioritize? Should we prioritize the short-term way of curbing these insecurities, or the long-term?
We must, in strategic thinking, you must have the short-term and the long-term approach to dealing with an issue. For me, if I'm one of the presidential, or if I'm the president of the country, what I would do basically, one, I will take a lot of money from the hands of the elites. The elites are so rich. The gap between the rich and the poor is extremely wide. The tax net that the president has put in place is targeting so much. It's not targeting adequately the rich. So take a lot of money from them, as they do in the US, and then bring it back to the hands of the poor. How do you do that? You invest massively in agriculture, because one of the key problems we're having here is hunger. Massively in agriculture, massively in community policing. Not the issue, state police fine, but insecurity is embedded in the communities. Okay. We have the vigilante group of Nigeria. We have different vigilantes in the communities. Empower them. If what happened in Lebanon, in Syria, and all that, even in the Kurd area of Turkey, where the Americans empower the community people to try and push back on ISIS. That's what we need to do.
All right, so thank you. Because of our time, just some seconds for you to just wrap up, because we have plenty of time.
No, thank you. I think, in my own view, I think what we need to do is to concentrate more on our youths. Employment is very, very important. Those that went to school should be able to get a good job. And those that are unfortunately not to, at least there should be this business atmosphere for them. Because there are so many talented Nigerians out there. Most of all this that you're saying, majority of it is from the youths. So if you empower the youths, it's going to be a different thing, which is why the ADC are more concentrated on the youths, to make sure that we have them in place, to make sure that we give them the platform where they can showcase themselves, and then
thank you so much. Thank you so much for having you on this political segment. That was great from you. Youth empowerment to wrap up, and also our National Guild of Editor, Mr. Ighodalo. Ighodalo. Yeah, I'll get that correct.
Definitely need to get that right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for gracing us with your valuable presence. But that's where we put our gears on reverse on Politics on the Weekend show. The breakfast coming to you shortly.